Imagine a morning, quiet and still, yet within you a silent anticipation begins to stir. Perhaps it's the whisper of an upcoming challenge, the echo of past disappointments, or the faint hum of anxieties about what tomorrow might bring. We are all, in essence, voyagers on the sea of life, our hearts open, sails vulnerable to every gust of wind, every unexpected wave. We yearn for serenity, for a harbor where the soul can rest untouched by the storm's fury, yet life's very nature is change, turbulence, and the inevitable sting of adversity. How often have you found yourself reeling from a perceived slight, a dashed expectation, or the bitter taste of regret? The world, in its indifferent grandeur, doesn't tailor its events to our comfort. It simply is. And in this raw, unfiltered reality, we often feel exposed, our inner peace fractured by the sharp edges of external circumstances. We build walls, not of stone, but of fear and avoidance, hoping to shield ourselves from the pain that seems to lurk just beyond the horizon. But these walls, while appearing protective, often imprison us, preventing us from truly living, from embracing the very experiences that forge character and deepen wisdom. The ancient Stoics, with their profound understanding of the human condition, recognized this universal vulnerability. They didn't advocate for emotional numbness or a retreat from the world. Instead, they offered a radical and empowering alternative, a path to invulnerability not through external defenses, but through internal mastery. They discovered secrets, not of magic or escape, but of perspective, control, and acceptance. Timeless truths that, when deeply understood and rigorously practiced, can transform the very nature of suffering. These aren't secrets to keep the world from touching you, but secrets to ensure that when it does, it strengthens rather than shatters. They are the wise whispers of ages past, guiding us to navigate life's inevitable currents without losing our inner compass, showing us how to remain whole even when the world around us seems to fall apart. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover 5 such wise secrets, profound insights that, if truly held close and woven into the fabric of your being, can prevent countless hurts and cultivate an unshakable inner peace. These aren't quick fixes, but profound shifts in perception, powerful anchors for the soul. They are the keys to unlocking a resilience that doesn't just endure adversity, but grows stronger because of it. Each secret is a protective layer, not against feeling, but against unnecessary suffering, a shield crafted from wisdom itself. As we delve into these transformative truths, I invite you to open your mind and heart to consider how these ancient principles can illuminate your modern life. Let us begin this exploration together, and as we start, I encourage you to share your thoughts. What is one particular hurt or challenge you hope to find solace or strength for today? Type it into the comments below, a single word, a brief phrase, to ground your intention for this journey. And if these reflections resonate with you, if they offer a flicker of clarity or a moment of peace, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps these messages reach more seeking minds, extending the ripple of wisdom to those who need it most. Together, we can cultivate a fortress of wisdom within, one secret at a time. You stand at the threshold of a profound truth, an ancient wisdom not often spoken aloud, yet ceaselessly practiced by those who walk through life with an unshakable calm. The world, in its ceaseless turning, will hurl challenges, injustices, and sorrows your way, as surely as the tide meets the shore. Yet there exists a secret, a profound insight that can transform these relentless assaults from crushing blows into mere ripples on the surface of your serene inner ocean. This is the first wise secret, and it is the bedrock upon which all other protections are built. The sanctuary of control, guarding your inner realm. Imagine your life not as a fragile vessel at the mercy of every tempest, but as a meticulously designed ship, guided by a seasoned captain. You cannot command the winds to cease their howling, nor the waves to still their restless dance. You cannot erase the looming spectre of distant storms, or divert the treacherous currents that seek to pull you off course. These vast, external forces are beyond your dominion. Yet as the captain of your own vessel, you possess absolute authority over the rudder, the set of the sails, the meticulous charting of your path, and the discipline of your crew, your thoughts, your reactions, your efforts. True wisdom, the very essence of self-preservation, lies in this precise discernment, understanding what is truly within your sphere of influence and what utterly transcends it. To mistakenly grapple for control over the uncontrollable is to condemn yourself to an unending cycle of frustration, anger, and despair, leaving your spirit exposed and vulnerable to every unforeseen gust of misfortune. This wisdom, therefore, is not about exerting more force, but about a surgical precision in where you direct your precious energy. Consider the human heart itself, not as a frail, exposed organ, but as an inner citadel fortified by intention and understanding. This citadel is your authentic self, your core being, which stands impervious when you align with the ancient truth. Some things are within our control and others are not. When you attempt to command the weather, the economy, the opinions of others, or even the past, you're essentially trying to tear down the walls of your own fortress from within, leaving your spirit defenseless. The external world will forever remain a realm of flux and uncertainty, a ceaseless roaring ocean. But your inner world, your thoughts, your judgments, your desires, your responses, this is your sanctuary, your inner citadel, and you are its sovereign ruler. Every thought you entertain, every judgment you make, every desire you nurture, every aversion you cultivate, every action you undertake, these are the bricks and mortar of this personal fortress. Neglect this understanding, and you expose your soul to unnecessary wounds. Let's delve deeper into what truly belongs to this sacred inner territory. First and foremost, you control your thoughts and judgments. This is the primary domain of your sovereignty. The world presents events, raw and unfiltered, but it is your mind that interprets them, labels them, and assigns them meaning. A sudden downpour on a planned picnic is merely water falling from the sky. Your judgment transforms it into a ruined day. A colleague's critical feedback is just information. Your judgment morphs it into a personal attack. The secret here is to constantly question your initial reactions, to introduce a pause between stimulus and response, recognizing that your power lies not in preventing the event, but in choosing your internal narrative about it. As the Stoics taught, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This ability to reframe, to choose your perspective, is a formidable shield. Secondly, you control your desires and aversions. These are the impulses that pull you towards or away from things. If your desires are primarily tethered to external outcomes, a promotion, a specific person's affection, perfect health, material wealth, you are setting yourself up for inevitable suffering. Why? Because these things are not ultimately yours to command. They depend on myriad factors beyond your control. When you desire what is external, you become a slave to its whims. Similarly, if your aversions are directed at external circumstances, poverty, illness, criticism, death, you will live in constant fear and anxiety. The wise secret is to reorient your desires towards what is internal and controllable. Excellence in your effort, integrity in your character, wisdom in your judgments. Desire virtue, not victory. Avert from moral vice, not physical discomfort. This reorientation redirects your emotional energy from the volatile external world to the stable ground of your character. Finally, you control your actions and intentions. While the outcome of your actions might be influenced by countless external variables, the integrity of your effort, the purity of your intention, and the diligence with which you act are entirely yours. An archer controls their stance, their breath, the precise release of the arrow, but not the gust of wind that might divert its flight, nor the target's sudden movement, nor the ultimate success of the shot. Focus on being an excellent archer, on perfecting your craft, rather than on guaranteeing a bullseye. This emphasis on process over outcome, on moral effort over external reward, ensures that your sense of worth and accomplishment is internally derived, unshakable by the vagaries of fate. Your moral will, your choices, your responses, these are the true manifestations of your freedom. Now, let us turn to the realm of what we emphatically do not control. For understanding this boundary is crucial to avoiding self-inflicted harm. We do not control external events. The weather, the economy, political shifts, global pandemics, natural disasters. We do not control other people's actions or opinions, how they behave, what they say, whether they approve of us, whether they betray us. We do not control our physical bodies entirely. They are susceptible to illness, aging, and injury despite our best efforts. We do not control our possessions. They can be lost, stolen, or damaged. We certainly do not control our reputation or fame. These are mere reflections in the minds of others, ephemeral and subject to change. And crucially, we cannot control the past. It is done, unchangeable, a closed book. To waste a single moment lamenting what has been or trying to rewrite history is to drain your present energy into a void. Consider a practical modern example. You pour your heart and soul into a significant project at work, meticulously planning, executing with diligence, and investing countless hours. Yet at the last minute, the client decides to go in a completely different direction, rendering much of your work irrelevant. The raw event, the client's decision, is entirely outside your control. You cannot undo their choice. However, your reaction is fully within your power. Will you succumb to anger, bitterness, and self-pity, feeling that your effort was wasted? Or will you choose to see it as an opportunity to practice adaptability, to glean lessons from the process, and to redirect your skills to a new challenge? Will you communicate your frustration unprofessionally, or will you calmly seek to understand the new requirements and adjust your sails? This choice, this internal response, is the sanctuary where your wisdom resides. Or imagine scrolling through social media, encountering a wave of criticism directed at something you believe in, or perhaps even personally at you. The words, the judgments of strangers, these are external. You cannot force them to change their minds, nor can you silence every voice. Trying to engage every detractor is like trying to empty the ocean with a teacup. But you can control how you interpret that criticism. Is there a kernel of truth you can learn from? Or is it merely noise, born of ignorance or malice, that deserves no place in your inner citadel? You control whether you internalize it, let it fester, or simply observe it, acknowledge its external nature, and let it pass by like a cloud. You control whether you engage in futile arguments or choose to protect your peace. The harm of ignoring this wise secret is profound and pervasive. When you try to control the uncontrollable, you condemn yourself to hunt frustration and anger. Imagine pushing against a stone wall that will never move. That is the sensation of trying to bend the world to your will. This leads to anxiety and fear. As you constantly worry about what might happen, projecting an illusion of control over an uncertain future. It fosters resentment and bitterness. towards others, towards fate, towards life itself, for not conforming to your desires. Ultimately, it leads to burnout, a profound exhaustion from constantly expending energy on futile efforts, leaving you depleted and vulnerable. Conversely, embracing this secret unlocks immense benefits. It ushers in inner peace and serenity, as you cease to fight against the current of reality and learn to accept what is. It leads to effective action, as your energy is directed solely where it can make a difference, making you far more productive and impactful. It cultivates resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity because your sense of well-being is not shattered by external setbacks. Most importantly, it grants you true freedom, a liberation from the external chains of circumstance, opinion, and fortune. You become unconquerable, not because you control everything, but because you control the one thing that truly matters, yourself. Ancient Stoic thinkers like Epictetus understood this dichotomy of control as the very foundation of human flourishing. He famously taught, "Some things are within our control, while others are not." Within our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever are our own actions. Not within our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in a word, whatever are not our own actions. This is not an abstract philosophy. It is a practical manual for living. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, echoed this wisdom even amidst the immense pressures of leading an empire. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He, who held more external power than almost anyone, still understood the ultimate futility of trying to control all external circumstances and the supreme importance of mastering one's internal landscape. Seneca too reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, emphasizing that our internal judgments and fears, often concerning things outside our control, are the true sources of our anguish. To truly integrate this wise secret into your life, you must practice it daily. For the next few days, whenever you feel a surge of frustration, anxiety, or anger, pause. Take a deep, deliberate breath. Mentally or even literally, draw a circle around yourself. Now consider the source of your distress. Place everything that is bothering you inside that circle. Then, with deliberate focus, identify which elements within that circle are truly within your immediate influence, your thoughts, your reactions, your choices, your efforts. Consciously, vividly, and with resolute intention, release your grip on everything else. Observe how this precise shift in focus, this intentional relinquishing of what is not yours to control, immediately alters your emotional landscape. You will feel a palpable lightening, a surge of clarity. This is the beginning of building your inner sanctuary. Another powerful exercise is to use a journal. At the end of each day, reflect, what did I try to control today that was not truly mine to command? How did I react when external events defied my expectations? What was genuinely within my power, and did I direct my energy there effectively? This regular introspection will sharpen your perception, making the distinction between control and non-control an intuitive part of your daily awareness. This first wise secret is not a simple platitude. It is a profound, protective framework that, once truly understood and integrated, shields you from much of life's potential for hurt. It is your inner shield, your personal sanctuary, providing an impregnable defense against the slings and arrows of fortune. Master this, and you will have taken the most significant step towards an unshakable inner peace. But this is just the first layer of protection, paving the way for further wisdom that builds upon this solid foundation. The human mind is a vast, intricate landscape, often subjected to the relentless winds of external judgment and the shifting sands of public opinion. We walk through life constantly exposed, our very being laid bare for scrutiny, for praise, and for condemnation. And in this exposure lies the profound potential for hurt, a vulnerability that can gnaw at the very core of our peace. You've felt it, haven't you? That sting when an unkind word lands, the slow erosion of confidence from a dismissive glance, or the crushing weight of expectation from those around you. We build our identities, our sense of worth, often upon the precarious foundation of others' perceptions, unwittingly handing over the keys to our inner tranquility to strangers and acquaintances alike. This path, though common, is fraught with peril, for it transforms our most precious possession, our inner peace, into a fragile echo of external noise. Imagine your mind not as an open field, easily trampled by every passing foot, but as an ancient, formidable citadel. This isn't just any fortress, it's one you alone can truly govern. Its walls are built of reason, its gates of discernment, and its watchtowers of awareness. Every day, countless thoughts, opinions, and judgments from the outside world approach these walls. Some are well-intentioned visitors, some are harmless wanderers, but many are like a besieging army, armed with criticism, envy, or even misplaced admiration, all seeking to breach your defenses and plant their banners within your sacred inner keep. This constant assault, if unguarded, can leave your soul bruised and battered, your sense of self distorted by the echoes of what others believe you to be. The wise secret lies in understanding that you possess the ultimate control over what is allowed entry. You are the sole sovereign of this internal empire, and the choice of whom to admit and what messages to heed rests entirely in your hands. To neglect this duty is to invite chaos, to allow the clamor of the world to dictate your inner weather. When the wind howls with disapproval or whispers with false praise, it is your responsibility to ensure that the gates of your citadel remain steadfast, protecting the quiet, unwavering flame of your true self within. This is not about building an impenetrable shell of indifference. It is about cultivating a discerning gatekeeper, one that evaluates each incoming message, recognizing what genuinely serves your growth and what is merely external static, irrelevant to your inner work. In our hyper-connected modern world, the external assault on our inner citadel is more pervasive than ever. Consider the endless scroll of social media, a digital amphitheater where every action, every thought, every aspiration is subject to immediate, unfiltered public review. A carefully crafted post, a heartfelt opinion, or even a simple photograph can instantly become a magnet for a cascade of likes, praises, criticisms, or outright venom. That fleeting comment from an anonymous profile, a snide remark in a group chat, or even the sheer absence of validation for something you poured your heart into. These seemingly trivial external inputs possess an alarming power to disrupt our internal equilibrium. At the workplace, a critical email from a colleague, a dismissive tone from a superior, or the feeling of being overlooked for an opportunity can trigger a torrent of self-doubt and resentment, making us question our competence and value. In family gatherings, well-meaning but often unsolicited advice, comparisons to siblings, or expectations that don't align with our authentic desires can chip away at our peace. We internalize these external voices, allowing them to morph into our own inner monologue, replaying the harsh words, magnifying the perceived slights, and letting the collective judgment of others become the yardstick for our own worth. This creates a dangerous feedback loop where our emotional well-being becomes directly dependent on the fluctuating tides of external opinion, leaving us perpetually vulnerable and susceptible to hurt. The very platforms designed to connect us can become conduits for our deepest insecurities if we fail to establish clear boundaries for our internal world. Epictetus, with his profound wisdom, once urged, It is not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of their significance. This timeless truth serves as the blueprint for guarding your inner citadel. The criticism itself, the dismissive look, the lack of affirmation, these are merely external events, neutral in their raw form. They are like stones thrown against your fortress walls. It is your decision to open the gates and let those stones tumble inside, or to recognize them as external projectiles that can cause no harm to your core unless you give them permission. The significance, the emotional weight, the power to hurt, these are not inherent in the external event, but are assigned by your mind. If someone criticizes your work, the actual words are just sounds or pixels on a screen. Your disturbance arises from your interpretation of those words. They think I'm incompetent, I'm a failure, my efforts are worthless. Epictetus challenges us to sever this chain of interpretation, to understand that our peace is not contingent on the absence of criticism or the presence of praise, but on our refusal to grant external opinions the power to define our inner state. When you truly grasp this, you realize that the power to be hurt or to remain undisturbed lies not with the critic, but solely within you, the sovereign of your inner world. You become the editor of your own emotional script, choosing which lines to keep and which to discard. To truly fortify your inner citadel and practice the art of discerning external opinions, begin a daily ritual of internal boundary setting. Each morning, before the rush of the day begins, take a few quiet moments for self-reflection. Visualize your mind as a grand, ancient fortress, solid and serene. See the sturdy walls, the strong gates, and the vigilant watchtowers. Now, consciously declare your intention for the day. Today, I will only allow thoughts and opinions that serve my highest good and growth to enter my inner sanctuary. All other noise, all uninvited judgments, all misplaced praise will be acknowledged at the gate and then gently dismissed. Throughout your day, whenever you encounter an external opinion, be it a critical comment, a wave of social media judgment, or even an overly effusive compliment that makes you uncomfortable, pause. Do not immediately react or internalize. Instead, mentally step back to your watchtower. Observe the incoming opinion as if it were a messenger approaching your gates. Ask yourself, does this message carry truth that I can learn from, or is it merely noise, a projection of another's inner world, or a fleeting external validation? If it carries a kernel of truth, allow it entry, but only after careful examination, filtering out any unnecessary emotional baggage. If it is mere noise, judgment, or flattery that distracts from your authentic path, acknowledge its presence, but firmly keep the gates closed. Remind yourself that your worth, your peace, and your identity are not determined by the ever-changing external landscape, but by the unwavering principles and virtues cultivated within your own citadel. At the end of the day, reflect on moments where you successfully defended your inner peace and moments where an external opinion breached your defenses. Journal these observations without judgment, seeing each instance as a lesson in strengthening your inner sovereignty. This consistent practice of discernment will transform your mind from a vulnerable open field into an unyielding bastion of peace. Imagine your inner world as a magnificent, verdant garden. Within its walls grow the most precious virtues: your integrity, your wisdom, your peace. This garden is yours alone. You tend its soil, water its plants, and decide what seeds take root. But just beyond the sturdy gates, the external world rages. Storms of opinion, droughts of misfortune, and invasive weeds of others' judgments. Many people unknowingly leave their gates wide open, allowing every gust of wind and every stray seed to invade their sanctuary, wondering why their inner garden is perpetually in disarray. This is the third wise secret: understanding the boundary between what is yours to control and what is not. This discernment is the unseen wall, the ultimate defense against getting hurt by the uncontrollable chaos of existence. We live in a world that constantly blurs these lines. Social media feeds us a relentless stream of curated lives. Political debates ignite passions over issues far beyond our individual reach, and daily news cycles present a parade of calamities we can merely witness. We often find ourselves emotionally battered, not by the events themselves, but by our futile attempts to control them, or by our deep emotional investment in their outcomes. A project at work might fail despite your best efforts. A friend might betray your trust. A loved one might make choices you disagree with. These external events are the weather outside your garden. You cannot command the rain to fall or the sun to shine, but you absolutely control how you respond to the changing skies, whether you seek shelter, adapt your plans, or use the rain to water a resilient plant. Some things are in our control and others are not, taught Epictetus. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in a word, whatever are not our own actions. This isn't a call to indifference or apathy. It is an invitation to channel your energy with surgical precision. It's about recognizing where your true power lies, not in dictating the world around you, but in mastering the world within you. When you internalize this truth, you cease to be a leaf tossed by every passing breeze and become the steadfast tree, rooted deep within your own nature. Consider the modern frustration of online criticism. A single negative comment on your creative work, your opinion, or even your appearance can feel like a direct assault, tearing at your self-worth. You cannot control what others say or think. You cannot force them to understand or agree. What you can control is your judgment of that comment. Is it constructive? Can you learn from it? Or is it merely noise, a passing shadow that attempts to dim your light? The wise person acknowledges the comment, perhaps even studies it, but does not allow it to breach the walls of their inner garden. They choose not to give it power over their peace. They choose to remember that their worth is not determined by the fickle algorithms of external validation, but by the unwavering integrity of their own character and effort. This profound wisdom offers true liberation. When you realize that your peace and well-being are not contingent on external circumstances, you are no longer a hostage to fortune. You become the architect of your own emotional landscape. You learn to distinguish between what is truly yours, your choices, your values, your character, and what is merely on loan, subject to the whims of the universe. This distinction is not always easy. It requires constant vigilance, a steady hand to prune the weeds of expectation, and a discerning eye to tend to what matters most. Practical exercise. For the next few days, observe your emotional reactions to events. When you feel a surge of anger, frustration, or sadness, pause. Ask yourself, is this event within my control? Is my reaction helping or harming my inner peace? If the event is external, beyond your influence, consciously redirect your focus to what is within your power, your interpretation, your attitude, your next action. Practice accepting what cannot be changed and channeling your vital energy only into those areas where you can make a real difference. Slowly, deliberately reinforce the unseen wall around your sacred inner garden, protecting your peace from the unpredictable world. My friends, we journey now to the fifth and perhaps most profound secret in our quest for an unshakable inner peace, a shield against the slings and arrows of a world that so often seeks to define us. This wisdom, if truly embraced, will fortify your very soul, turning it into an impenetrable fortress where true contentment resides, untouched by the shifting sands of opinion or the transient winds of praise and blame. It is the secret of the inner sanctuary, a sacred space you must guard with unwavering vigilance. Imagine your true self, your essence, not as a fragile reed swaying in every breeze, but as a magnificent ancient temple. This temple is built not of mortal stone, but of enduring wisdom, its foundations laid by reason, its pillars crafted from virtue, and its innermost sanctum illuminated by the steady flame of your intrinsic worth. Within these hallowed walls reside your deepest values, your authentic aspirations, and the quiet dignity of your character. This temple is meant to be a sanctuary, a place of profound peace and self-possession. Yet in our modern world, we are often tempted to leave the gates of this temple wide open, to invite every passerby to wander through its sacred spaces, to offer their judgment, their applause, or their scorn. We become architects of our own vulnerability when we seek constant validation from the outside world, when we allow the ephemeral whispers of external approval to dictate the temperature of our inner climate. This relentless pursuit of external affirmations is like trying to quench an endless thirst with salt water. It only leaves you more parched, more desperate, and ultimately more depleted. Consider for a moment the insidious nature of relying on what others think. Each like, each word of praise, each nod of approval is like a fleeting spark. It may momentarily illuminate your path, offering a brief, intoxicating warmth. But these sparks are not the sun. They burn brightly for an instant, then vanish, plunging you back into a deeper shadow if you have neglected your own inner light in their pursuit. Your worth, dear seeker, is not a collective agreement, not a fluctuating market value set by the whims of others. It is an inherent truth, a fundamental, unassailable fact of your being, independent of anyone's perception or recognition. To surrender this truth to external forces is to invite not merely hurt, but a slow erosion of your very identity, leaving you a hollow echo of what you were meant to be. Let's ground this ancient wisdom in the vivid tapestry of our contemporary lives. Think of the digital arenas that dominate our interactions. You might pour your heart and soul into a project, a creative endeavor, or even a simple personal achievement. And then, almost instinctively, you find yourself compulsively refreshing your social media feed, anxiously awaiting the digital chorus of likes, shares, and affirming comments. When these don't materialize to the extent you anticipated, or worse, when criticism, however mild, rears its head, a profound sense of disappointment or inadequacy can wash over you. You begin to question not just the quality of your work, but your talent, your effort, your very right to exist as a creator or an achiever. This isn't because your creation is inherently flawed, but because you've handed over the mirror of your self-worth to the fickle hands of the online crowd, allowing them to reflect back something you didn't expect, something that contradicts the internal validation you craved. This chase extends far beyond the digital realm. In the workplace, we might find ourselves tailoring our opinions, our dress, even our authentic communication style, purely to curry favor with a boss or to win the approval of colleagues. We become chameleons, constantly adapting our hues to match the environment, sacrificing our integrity for the illusion of acceptance or the promise of advancement. When a promotion doesn't materialize or a project is criticized, the sting is not merely professional, it cuts to the core of our self-esteem, because we've allowed our professional identity to become inextricably linked to the validation of others. We compromise our authentic expression, stifling innovative ideas that might not be immediately popular, all to avoid the discomfort of disapproval. In personal relationships, this secret takes on an even more intimate dimension. We might constantly seek affirmation from a partner, a friend or family members needing their frequent praise or reassurance to feel loved and valued. This can lead to a subtle but dangerous dynamic where our mood becomes entirely dependent on their responses, their words, their presence. We might change our behaviors, suppress our true feelings, or even abandon our own needs to maintain their good graces, fearing that any expression of our true self might lead to their disapproval, or, God forbid, their withdrawal. The pain here isn't just the hurt of potential rejection, it's the deeper wound of losing ourselves in the effort to be what we believe others want us to be. The Stoics understood this fundamental human vulnerability. They recognized that our peace of mind is directly proportional to how much we rely on what is within our control. And what others think of us, their judgments, their approvals, these are profoundly and unequivocally not within our control. To base our happiness, our identity, our sense of well-being on such external, unstable elements is to build our house upon shifting sands. As the great Marcus Aurelius wisely reminds us, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not the thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it, and it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. Let us unpack the profound simplicity of this truth. The external thing could be a critical comment online, a lack of recognition at work, or the silent disapproval of someone you care about. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that these things, in themselves, hold no inherent power to wound. The true source of our suffering lies not in the event itself, but in our interpretation, our judgment, our agreement with the notion that this external input has the authority to define our worth or diminish our peace. Consider the immense power embedded in the second part of his dictum. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. This isn't a call to indifference, nor is it an instruction to ignore feedback entirely. It is a profound declaration of sovereignty. It is the understanding that you, and only you, hold the keys to your inner peace. You have the power to withdraw your consent to be affected. You can choose to detach your self-worth from the fickle metrics of public opinion or private affirmation. When you receive praise, appreciate the sentiment, but let it not inflate your ego. When you receive criticism, examine it for truth that can lead to improvement, but let it not deflate your spirit or dismantle your inherent value. The wise individual distinguishes between valuable feedback and mere noise, accepting neither as the ultimate arbiter of their being. This radical acceptance of your own internal locus of control is the cornerstone of an unshakable inner sanctuary. It means understanding that your character, your efforts, your intentions, these are the only true measures of your worth, and they are entirely within your domain. Now, how do we practically apply this secret? How do we fortify this inner sanctuary in the din of modern life? For the next few days, I invite you to embark on a profound journey of self-observation. Keep a mental or even a physical journal to consciously track how much of your day is spent seeking external approval. When you find yourself about to post something online, before you hit send, pause. Ask yourself, why am I sharing this? Is it purely for self-expression, to genuinely connect, or is it primarily to solicit validation? Become acutely aware of the moment you instinctively reach for your phone after sharing, waiting for the digital applause. Then practice the art of finding contentment and profound satisfaction in the act itself, in the virtue of your effort, in the integrity of your intention, regardless of how others receive it. Create for the joy of creation. Work for the satisfaction of contribution. Share for the beauty of connection. Let the outcome be an indifferent, external event. Your peace should never hinge upon it. Before making any significant decision, whether it's a career move, a change in a relationship, or even a personal creative project, implement the why question. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it genuinely aligns with my deepest values and aspirations, because it feels right to my own conscience? Or am I doing it because I fear disapproval if I don't, or because I crave praise if I do? Use this filter to purify your motivations, ensuring that your actions flow from a place of intrinsic worth rather than extrinsic need. Engage in a value alignment check. Take time to identify your core personal values: honesty, compassion, diligence, creativity, integrity. Then regularly review your actions and decisions against these internal benchmarks. If your actions are in harmony with your values, then you are on solid ground, irrespective of external opinions. This practice helps you build a robust, internal framework for self-assessment, one that cannot be shaken by the fleeting judgments of others. Consider a mindful approach to your digital life, a sort of digital detox light. Set specific times to check social media, or even dedicate certain days to abstaining entirely. This isn't about avoiding connection. It's about reclaiming your attention and reducing the constant hum of potential validation or criticism. When you do engage, do so with purpose, for connection and contribution, not for validation. Train yourself to be present in your own life rather than constantly performing for an unseen audience. Cultivate a self-praise ritual. This isn't about arrogance, but about acknowledging your own efforts and achievements internally, irrespective of external recognition. When you complete a task with diligence, when you act with kindness, when you show resilience in the face of difficulty, take a moment to internally commend yourself. Whisper a quiet, "Well done," to your own soul. This builds an internal reservoir of self-respect that is not dependent on anyone else's approval. Practice pre-mortem on criticism. Mentally rehearse receiving criticism or negative feedback. Instead of fearing it, imagine it happening. How would you respond stoically? How would you discern between constructive feedback and mere noise? How would you protect your inner peace? This mental exercise builds resilience, preparing you for the inevitable bumps on the road and diminishing their power to cause you harm. Finally, develop a personal mantra, an affirmation of your intrinsic worth that you can repeat to yourself whenever you feel the urge to seek external validation. It could be something as simple as, "My worth is inherent," or "I am enough regardless." Let this mantra be the guardian of your inner sanctuary, a constant reminder that your peace is self-generated, self-sustained, and ultimately yours alone to command. By diligently practicing these steps, you will gradually learn to distinguish between what is truly good, your virtue, your character, your efforts, and what is merely preferred, external praise, recognition. You will become indifferent to the latter, not out of coldness, but out of a profound understanding that true harm comes only from within, from allowing your inner peace to be dictated by forces outside your control. You will stop giving away your power and reclaim your inherent sovereignty. This is the fifth wise secret, a profound invitation to build an unassailable fortress within your own soul. May you fortify this sanctuary, standing tall and serene amidst the shifting tides of the world, knowing that your true peace resides solely within. The fifth wise secret, the one that truly fortifies your spirit against the inevitable slings and arrows of existence, is to embrace the profound and relentless impermanence of all things. Imagine for a moment a great river, constant in its flow, yet never the same. Each ripple, each eddy, each drop of water is unique, present for a fleeting instant before yielding to the next. The river itself remains a continuous identity, but its constituent parts are in perpetual motion, an eternal dance of arrival and departure. So too is life. Everything you cherish, everything you fear, every joy, every sorrow, every success, every failure, all are but currents in this vast river destined to pass. To resist this truth, To desperately cling to any single moment or possession or person is like trying to cup the river in your hands. It will always slip through, leaving you with empty palms and a heart aching from the futile struggle. This secret is not a call to apathy or detachment in the sense of not caring, but rather an invitation to a deeper, more profound engagement with life, precisely because of its transient nature. When you understand that every sunset is unique, every conversation is unrepeatable, every moment with a loved one is a precious, fleeting gift, you learn to appreciate them more fully in their present perfection, unburdened by the anxiety of their eventual loss. You learn to savor the flavor of the food on your tongue, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the laughter shared with a friend, knowing these sensory delights are ephemeral. This wisdom allows you to experience joy without attachment and to confront sorrow without being completely consumed by it. For even sorrow is a wave that crests and eventually recedes. It teaches you that true security isn't found in holding on, but in the agile ability to let go, to adapt, to flow with the river of life rather than fighting its current. When you accept that change is the only constant, you strip away the power of loss to wound you deeply, transforming it instead into a natural process, an inevitable part of the grand tapestry of existence. Consider the landscape of modern life, filled with things we are encouraged to covet and cling to. Perhaps you've poured your heart and soul into a career, defining much of your self-worth by your professional title or your company's success. Then an economic downturn hits, or the company restructures, and suddenly that edifice of identity crumbles. The sting of such an event is not just the practical inconvenience, but the existential pain of feeling that a fundamental part of you has been lost. Or think about the relentless pursuit of online validation, the likes, the comments, the follower count. We craft perfect personas, curate our lives, and invest emotionally in these digital metrics, only to feel crushed when a post underperforms or a digital connection dissolves. Even in relationships, the fear of losing a partner or friend can lead to possessiveness, anxiety, and a suffocating need for control, ultimately undermining the very bond we desperately try to preserve. Each of these scenarios, from professional identity to digital validation to personal relationships, becomes a source of deep hurt, precisely because we implicitly deny the impermanence inherent in all of them. We forget that the job title is a temporary role, the digital praise is a fleeting echo, and even the most profound human connection evolves and shifts with the passage of time and circumstance. We fail to apply the wisdom of the river to these aspects of our lives, mistaking the flow for a static state, and thus set ourselves up for disappointment and pain when the inevitable change occurs. Epictetus, with his profound understanding of human nature, reminds us of this essential truth. Never say of anything, "I have lost it," but "I have returned it." Is your child dead? He has been returned. Is your wife dead? She has been returned. Is your estate taken from you? Has not this also been returned? But he who took it from me is a bad man. What difference does it make through whom the giver demanded it back? This teaching, though stark, offers a radical shift in perspective. It challenges us to view everything we possess, be it people, possessions, or positions, as on loan from the universe. We are merely custodians for a time, entrusted with their care, but never their ultimate owners. When they depart, whether through natural causes, external events, or the decisions of others, it is not a theft, but a return. This perspective doesn't diminish the value or the love we hold for these things during their time with us. Rather, it elevates our appreciation for their presence and inoculates us against the paralyzing grief of their absence. By recognizing the temporary nature of all external things, we free ourselves from the emotional tyranny of attachment, allowing us to engage fully and lovingly without the illusion of permanent possession. To integrate this secret into your daily practice, embark on a daily exercise of temporal reflection. Choose one object, one relationship, or one aspect of your current circumstance each day. It could be your favorite coffee mug, your car, your smartphone, your current job, or even a specific friendship. Spend a few minutes consciously reflecting on its impermanence. Acknowledge that this mug could break, this car could rust, this phone will become obsolete, this job could end, this friendship might change or fade. Visualize its eventual absence. Do not do this to cultivate morbid thoughts, but to gently dismantle your unconscious attachments. Observe the emotions that arise, perhaps a flicker of sadness, a touch of anxiety, or even a sense of liberation. Allow these feelings to pass without judgment. Then, pivot your reflection to gratitude. How does the knowledge of its impermanence deepen your appreciation for its presence now? How does it encourage you to interact with it, or with the people involved, more fully and intentionally in this present moment? Let this practice teach you to appreciate the river for its flowing nature, for the beauty of each passing wave, rather than desperately trying to build a dam against its inevitable course. By consciously embracing the transience of all things, you prepare your mind and heart for the inevitable ebbs and flows of life, ensuring that you navigate them not just with resilience, but with profound serenity, lessening the potential for hurt by anticipating the nature of reality itself. This consistent, gentle meditation on impermanence will gradually rewire your mind, shifting your default reaction from one of clinging and potential pain to one of acceptance, deeper appreciation, and an unshakable inner peace. Wise secret number 5. Guard your inner sanctuary. Imagine your mind as an ancient sacred temple, built not of stone, but of wisdom, resilience, and an unwavering inner peace. This temple is your most precious possession, a place where your truest self resides, where your values are enshrined, and where your deepest reflections find fertile ground. Yet, in our modern world, we often leave the gates of this sanctuary wide open, inviting any passing thought, any fleeting opinion, any digital clamor to rush in and disturb its hallowed quiet. To truly avoid being hurt, you must learn to become the diligent guardian of this inner temple, deciding with conscious intent what is allowed entry and what must remain outside its walls. The world outside is a torrent of noise, expectations, and judgments. Social media relentlessly streams curated realities and anonymous criticisms. News cycles bombard us with fear and urgency. Even the well-meaning advice of friends or family can at times become an uninvited invasion, planting seeds of doubt or obligation where your peace once flourished. Each time you uncritically absorb a negative comment about your appearance, your choices, or your worth, each time you allow the relentless pursuit of external validation to dictate your self-perception, each time you let the opinions of others overshadow your own inner compass, you are allowing the sanctity of your temple to be compromised. You are handing over the keys to your most private domain, permitting strangers and fleeting currents to rearrange its altars, deface its murals, and scatter its sacred artifacts. The hurt doesn't come from the external event itself, but from the internal permission you grant it to take root within you. It's not the stone thrown, but the willingness to let it shatter your inner calm. Consider the pervasive modern habit of oversharing, the compulsion to broadcast every success, every struggle, every meal, and every fleeting emotion. This eagerness to expose the raw edges of our experience to the digital winds leaves us vulnerable to unseen forces. When we hinge our self-worth on the number of likes, the validation of comments, or the perceived approval of a virtual audience, we are essentially turning our inner temple into a public square, open to the whims and often harsh scrutiny of passers-by. The brief thrill of external affirmation is a fragile illusion, easily shattered by the next wave of indifference or critique. Similarly, in the workplace, how often do we allow the anxiety of a demanding boss, the snide remark of a colleague, or the relentless pressure of corporate metrics to colonize our thoughts, turning our inner peace into a battlefield of stress and resentment? These external pressures become internal wounds only when we fail to recognize our power to filter, to discern, and to protect the boundaries of our own being. Marcus Aurelius, that emperor-philosopher, knew the profound importance of this inner withdrawal and protection. He wisely admonished us, "Withdraw into yourself whenever you can. For the rational animal has nothing more conducive to peace than to withdraw into itself and to contemplate its own resources." This isn't an invitation to isolation or escapism, but a profound call to intentional self-reflection and self-possession. To contemplate your own resources means to recognize your faculty of reason, your inherent virtues, your power of choice, and your capacity for inner tranquility as your most potent defenses. It means understanding that true strength isn't found in external approval or immunity to hardship, but in the unwavering sovereignty over your inner landscape. When you withdraw, you are not hiding, you are fortifying. You are tending to the sacred flame of your own being, ensuring that its light remains undimmed by the external storms. To practice this guarding of your inner sanctuary, begin each day with a silent, deliberate ritual of creating mental boundaries. Find a quiet space, even for just 5 minutes, and visualize your mind as that sacred temple. See its strong walls, its impenetrable gates. As thoughts and external impressions arise, be they worries about the day, judgments from yesterday, or anxieties about tomorrow, gently observe them at the gate. Ask yourself, does this thought serve my highest good? Does it align with my core values? Will it contribute to my peace or disturb it? If the answer is no, acknowledge its presence, but consciously choose not to grant it entry. Let it pass by like a cloud. Throughout your day, set intentional check-in moments. Before opening social media, pause and ask, am I seeking genuine connection or fleeting validation? Before engaging in gossip, ask, will this conversation enhance my inner peace or pollute it? Learn to physically and mentally disengage from sources of unnecessary noise. Turn off notifications, put down your phone, step away from the endless news cycle, create pockets of silence, spaces where your mind can simply be free from external demands. Journal about what truly infiltrates your peace each day, identifying the specific triggers and your emotional responses. With each entry, practice recognizing your power to respond differently, to strengthen your inner gates. This isn't about ignoring the world. It's about consciously engaging with it from a position of inner strength and self-possession, ensuring that the only voices that truly echo within your temple are those you have chosen to welcome, those that serve your journey towards wisdom and tranquility. The journey to an unshakable mind is not about building impenetrable walls around your heart, but about understanding the currents that stir its waters. We seek not to become cold, but to become wise, discerning which burdens are truly ours to carry and which expectations only lead to deeper wounds. We've already delved into guarding your inner citadel, embracing the impermanence of all things, and wisely preparing for life's inevitable storms. Now let us unearth another vital secret, a profound truth that shields your spirit from one of the most insidious forms of pain, the hurt born of unmet expectations. This brings us to the fourth wise secret you must keep: give freely, expect nothing. Imagine yourself as a wellspring overflowing with pure, clear water. You pour forth your kindness, your effort, your love, not as a calculated transaction, but as a natural expression of your abundant spirit. The plants drink, the animals quench their thirst, and the earth is nourished. Does the wellspring demand a specific type of flower in return, or a certain song from a bird? Does it fret if the path it watered remains dusty, or if a traveler never pauses to acknowledge its bounty? No, its nature is to give. Its reward is in the giving itself, in the act of being. When we extend ourselves, whether in friendship, in labor, or in love, and then attach strings of expectation to that offering, we transform a gift into a loan, and our generosity into a potential source of bitterness. Consider the modern tapestry of our lives. You dedicate hours to a project at work, going above and beyond, expecting a promotion or at least profound recognition, only to see someone else lauded, or your efforts simply absorbed into the background hum. The sting isn't from the work itself, but from the unfulfilled belief that your output deserved a specific return. Or perhaps you lavish attention on a friend, offering emotional support, financial help, or countless acts of kindness, anticipating their unwavering loyalty or a similar level of commitment from them. When they falter, when they don't reciprocate in the way you envisioned, the disappointment can feel like betrayal. On social media, we share moments of vulnerability or joy, silently hoping for a cascade of likes and affirmations, and the silence can feel like rejection. In intimate relationships, we invest our hearts, our time, our very being, often with an unarticulated ledger of expectations for how our partner should behave, speak, or feel. And when reality deviates, the pain can be profound, not because the other person intentionally sought to hurt us, but because they simply couldn't fulfill an unspoken demand. Seneca, in his wisdom, urged us to understand the true nature of giving. A benefit is a good thing which he who receives it profits by, and he who confers it is better and more worshipful for having conferred it. He reminds us that the goodness of the act lies in the act itself, not in the anticipated consequence. The moment you give with an expectation of a specific outcome, be it gratitude, recognition, or an identical return, you have already diminished the purity of your gift and set the stage for your own suffering. The Stoics understood that we control our actions, our intentions, and our generosity. We do not, however, control the reactions, behaviors, or gratitude of others. To tie our inner peace to these uncontrollable externals is to surrender our tranquility. To cultivate this freedom from expectation, begin with a conscious act of giving. It could be a small favor for a colleague, an anonymous donation, or a moment of selfless listening to a loved one. As you perform the act, mentally release any expectation of return. Afterward, observe your own feelings. Did you feel lighter, purer in the giving? Reflect on a recent instance where you felt hurt or disappointed by someone's response or lack thereof. Can you trace that hurt back to an expectation you held? Practice reframing that moment. Acknowledge that your desire for a certain outcome was natural, but recognize that the other person's actions were outside your control. The strength of your inner peace does not depend on their response, but on your ability to give without demand, to let your benevolence flow like that unburdened wellspring, content in its own nature. Keep this secret close, and you will find many arrows of disappointment simply pass through you, leaving no wound behind. Remember, the truest shield against life's arrows is not found in external fortresses, but within the silent chambers of your own mind. These 5 secrets are not rigid rules, but living principles, whispered wisdom intended to guide your hand and steady your heart. To keep them is to forge an unbreakable pact with yourself, a commitment to an inner sanctuary where no storm can reach, no criticism can sting, and no loss can truly devastate the core of who you are. Let this be your quiet mantra, a resonance that hums beneath the surface of your everyday. I guard my inner peace. I control my judgments. I accept what is beyond me. I cherish my virtues. I choose my response. Repeat it not as an obligation, but as a tender affirmation, a reminder of the immense power you hold to shape your experience, regardless of the chaos around you. Take a moment now, in the stillness of your own being, to feel the weight of this truth. Imagine these secrets as roots that delve deep into the earth, anchoring you against the strongest gales of misfortune. When fear whispers, let your breath be your anchor, and recall the wisdom of controlling your perceptions. When anger flares, remember the discipline of choosing your response. When grief descends, lean into the serenity of accepting what cannot be changed. This isn't about suppressing your emotions, but about understanding them, allowing them to pass through you without leaving lasting scars on your soul. For it is not the things that happen to us that truly hurt us, but our interpretation of them. Seneca once advised, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." These secrets are the polish, the inner work that transforms every trial into an opportunity for growth, every challenge into a test of your resolve. You possess an immense capacity for resilience, a wellspring of quiet strength that only needs to be acknowledged and nurtured. The world will continue its relentless turning, presenting its myriad difficulties and fleeting joys. But within you, a different world can flourish, one of unshakable peace, profound clarity, and an enduring sense of purpose. This inner world, fortified by these wise secrets, is yours to cultivate, to protect, and to cherish above all else. As the journey through these 5 wise secrets unfolds within you, a different kind of landscape begins to emerge. It's no longer just about guarding against the sharp edges of the world, but about cultivating a fertile inner terrain where harm finds no purchase, where negativity struggles to take root. This isn't a passive defense. It's an active, profound transformation, a silent alchemy that transmutes external pressures into internal resilience. Consider the ancient oak tree, not merely enduring the storm, but drawing strength from the very winds that threaten to uproot it. Its roots delve deeper with each tempest, its trunk thickens with every passing season of adversity. The secrets you've embraced are the invisible nourishment for your own spiritual growth, the slow, deliberate work of strengthening your inner core. You are learning to distinguish between the superficial tremors on the Earth's surface and the deep geological stability beneath. The former may shake, but the latter remains unmoved. This is the essence of true invulnerability, not an absence of challenges, but an unshakable inner alignment that withstands them. You are building, not walls of defiance, but an inner sanctuary, a sacred space where the clamor of the world fades into a distant hum. This sanctuary isn't isolated from life, rather it is life's deepest wellspring. From this place of stillness, you can observe the chaotic currents of existence without being swept away. You can witness the fleeting dramas and the harsh judgments, the sudden betrayals, and the unexpected losses, not as personal affronts designed to wound you, but as the impersonal, indifferent dance of the universe. This detachment is not apathy. It is a profound form of self-preservation, an intelligent refusal to surrender your peace to external forces. You choose to engage with the world on your own terms, rooted in your values, rather than react to its every capricious whim. This is the subtle power of living these secrets. They grant you perspective. What once seemed a catastrophic blow, a devastating wound, now registers as a fleeting cloud across the sun. The sun itself, your inner light, remains undimmed, constant, and ready to re-emerge. You learn to recognize that true injury is rarely physical or material. It is almost always an assault on your mind, on your tranquility, on your character. And it is precisely this inner realm that you have learned to fortify. When others aim their arrows of criticism, their slings of gossip, or their spears of rejection, you have learned to step aside, to recognize that their aim is directed at a phantom, a projected image of you, not your true self. Your essence, nurtured by these secrets, stands beyond their reach. The practice of these secrets becomes a continuous act of self-reclamation. Every moment you choose mindful awareness over impulsive reaction, every time you choose acceptance over resistance, you are reaffirming your sovereignty. You are reminding yourself that your peace is not a gift granted by fortune or withheld by misfortune. It is a treasure cultivated through disciplined attention and unwavering commitment to your highest self. The world outside may rage, social media may flood with judgment, the economic tides may shift, but your inner harbor, deepened by wisdom, remains calm. Seneca, with his profound understanding of human nature, once advised, "No man is hurt but by himself." This ancient wisdom resonates deeply with the journey you are on. It reminds you that the ultimate source of suffering is not what happens to you, but how you interpret and react to what happens. If you do not internalize the insult, if you do not cling to the disappointment, if you do not fuel the anger, then the external event, however unpleasant, passes without leaving a lasting scar. The wise secrets you now hold are the very tools to ensure that you are not the agent of your own hurt. They empower you to stand guard at the gates of your mind, discerning what truly serves your inner peace and what merely seeks to disrupt it. This ongoing vigilance is not a burden, but a liberation. It frees you from the endless chase for external validation, from the exhausting fight against circumstances you cannot control. It allows you to breathe deeply, to stand tall, knowing that your most precious possession, your peace of mind, is secure. You learn to value the quiet moments of self-reflection, the steady rhythm of your own breath, the simple, undeniable truth of your existence. This is where true strength resides, not in loud proclamations or visible displays of power, but in the steadfast, unwavering calm of a soul at peace with itself and the world as it is. It is the secret power of letting go, of surrendering to what cannot be changed, and focusing your precious energy on what truly matters, the integrity of your character and the serenity of your spirit. We have journeyed together through the quiet corridors of ancient wisdom, unearthing 5 profound secrets designed not to shield you from life's inevitable storms, but to equip you with the unwavering strength to navigate them. As the path unfolds before us, our task now shifts from merely understanding these principles to truly embodying them. Think of your inner self not as a blank canvas, waiting for external strokes, but as a magnificent, ancient tree. Each secret we have explored is a new root that delves deeper into the earth, anchoring you more firmly against the relentless gales of fortune. The tree does not resist the wind, it learns to sway. It does not fear the drought, its roots reach further for hidden springs. Its strength lies not in its rigidity, but in its profound connection to the unyielding earth beneath it, a metaphor for the enduring truths within your own being. This journey of internal fortification is not a destination you arrive at, but a continuous cultivation, a living practice that evolves with every sunrise. You are the diligent gardener of your own soul, carefully tending to the seeds of wisdom planted, watering them with conscious reflection and shielding them from the weeds of distraction and reactivity. Each challenge you face, each moment of doubt, each external slight becomes an opportunity for growth, a chance to deepen the roots of your resilience. This is not about building impenetrable walls around your heart, For a heart encased in stone cannot truly live, cannot truly connect, cannot truly feel the warmth of gratitude or the profound joy of genuine connection. Instead, it is about constructing an inner sanctuary, a sacred space within you where peace reigns supreme, a place no external force can invade without your explicit permission. Imagine for a moment the serene composure of a vast mountain. It stands majestically unmoving as seasons change, as winds howl, as blizzards rage, and as the sun bathes its peaks in golden light. The mountain does not strive, it simply is. It experiences the elements, but it is not defined by them. Its essence remains untouched, unyielding. This profound stability is what you are cultivating within yourself. You are learning to observe the external tempest without becoming the storm. You are mastering the art of witnessing your emotions, your thoughts, and the actions of others, without allowing them to dictate your inner state or erode your fundamental tranquility. This is the quiet power of detachment, not indifference, but a discerning separation of what is truly within your control from what is emphatically not. This inner work, this continuous refinement of your spirit, is the greatest act of self-love you can undertake. It is a profound declaration of sovereignty over your own experience. For too long, perhaps, we have been conditioned to believe that our happiness, our worth, our very sense of self resides in the fickle hands of external circumstances or the shifting opinions of others. But the wisdom of the Stoics, those ancient architects of the soul, tells us a different story. They reveal that the true source of harm, the deepest wounds we suffer, are rarely inflicted by the world outside, but by our own judgments, our own expectations, our own untrained reactions. As Epictetus wisely observed, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This single truth, when fully absorbed, has the power to dismantle a lifetime of perceived victimhood and to resurrect a spirit of unshakable agency. To truly keep these secrets is to live them, to weave them into the fabric of your daily existence, transforming them from mere concepts into a lived reality. It means pausing before you react to an irritating email, before you lash out at an innocent remark, before you allow the fleeting praise or criticism of others to define your worth. It means cultivating a moment of mindful space between stimulus and response, a sacred pause where wisdom can intercede, where choice can reclaim its rightful place. This is where your true power resides, in that microsecond of deliberate reflection, in the conscious decision to align your actions with your highest values, rather than being swept away by impulse or external pressure. This quiet, continuous practice builds a robust internal structure, a sanctuary of peace where the tumult of the world cannot penetrate your core. The culmination of these insights is the understanding that true wisdom is not about accumulating more knowledge, but about distilling what is essential, about shedding what is extraneous, and about living in accordance with nature's profound simplicity. It is about recognizing the impermanence of all things, embracing change not as an enemy, but as the very rhythm of existence, and finding your steadfastness within that flow. This ongoing journey, illuminated by the ancient Stoic path, is a profound invitation to reclaim your inner landscape, to cultivate a peace so deep and so pervasive that it becomes an unassailable aspect of who you are. This inner peace is the ultimate secret weapon, not for fighting the world, but for embracing it with a calm heart and an unyielding spirit. It is your inherent right, waiting to be rediscovered through deliberate practice and unwavering commitment to your authentic self. We have journeyed together, exploring those profound, often whispered truths that serve as shields for the soul. These weren't secrets of concealment, but rather keys to liberation. Not about hiding from the world, but about guarding the sacred landscape within you. You have walked through the gateways of discernment, realizing that true wisdom lies not in merely knowing, but in knowing what to keep close and what to allow to pass, like the transient cloud formations in an endless sky. Think back to the image of the gardener, meticulously tending their most precious bloom. They don't expose it to every harsh wind or scorching sunbeam, not out of fear, but out of a deep understanding of its delicate nature, its potential for beauty. So too, these wise practices we've uncovered are about tending to the most precious garden of all, your inner self. They are the protective walls around your peace, the careful tending of your character, and the unwavering light that guides your judgment. The world outside will forever be a tumultuous ocean, with waves of praise and censure, joy and sorrow, gain and loss, crashing against the shores of your existence. Many seek to build their house upon the sand, hoping to avoid the tide altogether. But the wisdom of the Stoics and the quiet power of these secrets teaches us to build our foundation not on the shifting sands of external circumstance, but on the bedrock of our own reasoned mind, our own virtue, our own understanding of what is truly ours to control. You are not meant to be a leaf, tossed by every passing breeze, but a tree rooted deeply, unyielding yet flexible, thriving through all seasons. This journey wasn't about isolating yourself from the richness of life, but about enriching your experience by cultivating an inner sanctuary that remains inviolable. It's about understanding that the deepest wounds often come not from external blows, but from the internal narratives we allow to take root, the expectations we cling to, and the judgments we internalize. The secrets you now hold are tools to prune away these harmful narratives, to clear the weeds of resentment and regret, and to nurture the robust growth of resilience and serenity. They are about empowering you to choose your response, to decide what enters your inner citadel and what is left to drift harmlessly outside its gates. Imagine a clear, still lake nestled high in the mountains. Its surface reflects the sky perfectly, undisturbed by the currents and chaos of the world below. This stillness is not achieved by the absence of wind, but by the lake's natural depth and protection from the elements, allowing it to remain calm even when the winds rage higher up. Your mind can be that lake. The secrets are the mountains that shelter it, the depth of your understanding that keeps its surface placid even when the world attempts to stir it. This profound tranquility is not a gift bestowed upon you, but a state cultivated through conscious, diligent practice. It is a testament to the power of your own will, your own choice, your own commitment to self-mastery. The Stoics knew this truth intimately. They understood that external events are indifferent, neither good nor bad in themselves. It is our judgment, our interpretation, that assigns them meaning, and often that meaning brings us suffering. By guarding your inner self, by carefully choosing what you allow to affect you, you reclaim your power. You become the master of your own emotional landscape rather than its helpless subject. This is the profound freedom that these wise secrets offer, the freedom from internal turbulence, the freedom to remain calm and purposeful amidst any storm. Let this understanding become a part of your daily breath, a constant reminder woven into the fabric of your being. Guard your inner self, not with fear, but with reverence. Protect your peace not by avoiding the world, but by strengthening your core. Know that what is truly yours, your character, your choices, your virtue, cannot be taken from you by any external force, no matter how powerful. This is the ultimate fortress, built stone by stone with wisdom and discipline. So as you step back into the flow of your life, carry these insights not as heavy burdens, but as wings that lift you above the trivial and the transient. Let them be the compass that always points you towards your true north, your own undisturbed, courageous, and virtuous self. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, who, facing the immense pressures of an empire, wrote, "Never disturb yourself by imagining how difficult it is to do something, but having put your hand to the task, do it as if you had all eternity." Your task now is to live these secrets, to embody them, to make them a part of who you are, effortlessly and naturally. Find a quiet moment each day. Breathe. Reflect on the quiet strength you are building within. Feel the peace that comes from knowing you are the custodian of your own soul. This isn't just about avoiding hurt, it's about building an invincible spirit, one that is resilient, compassionate, and profoundly free. It is about discovering that true invulnerability lies not in never falling, but in always knowing how to rise, with your inner light undimmed. May your path be one of profound peace, guided by the quiet wisdom you now hold. Your sanctuary awaits within.